हाँ हाँ हाँ।
ઝૂમ માટે છે, ઝૂમ માટે છે.
परिणाम कीर्तन की जय। Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. This Lord. The Lord of devotees are going to come, and we want to ensure that they are not good. It's my honor to be here and the family of great Vishaka. So we have amazing opportunity to hear from His Grace Dwarkadish Prabhu and Her Grace Vishaka Mataji. Is there anyone who has not heard him in the past? Right. So just for my own purification, Prabhuji is postgraduate. He's MD. He's a certified doctor. He's the director of Bhakti Vedanta Hospital in Mumbai. Prabhuji is very connected to Maharaj, all the medical services and He's also co-owner, trustee, and head of the Department of Medicine. And spiritual test brought in ISKCON in 1982. He was fully certified and he read Prabhupada's books and got formally attached to the process in 1986. So since then, he's serving the whole community. Mataji, she's in the process when she was ninth grade. It was a successful IYS girls trainer through the annual seminar. Camps last 20 to 23 years, Mataji, and very important part, interesting, they are the first couple who got married in Radha Gopinath Mandir. So they have very of knowledge, they are very well qualified materially as well as spiritually, and they have wealth of knowledge in training and giving seminars and classes and talks to Grasta devotees as well as students. So it's our honor that they decided to be here with us. They already they gave Bhagavad class in the morning. Today we have a class, and they are also giving Sunday feast tomorrow. And like it's for common cousins as well as the days of the Monday in the evening. So it's a amazing opportunity to hear from them. So let's welcome them in our traditional way. Like we can now be chanting. Hey, Bhagavad Gita.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Tadamahyam Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Shri Guru Vaishnavamsya Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatham Sajivam Sadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishaka Nutamcha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namaste Sapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Namo Namaha. Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama. Hare Krishna, dear devotees. welcome, and a great pleasure to be with the beautiful family of Sri Radha Govindana Vallabh's wonderful devotees. So the topic for today's evening discussion is entitled The Pillars of Growth. We shall be sharing some thoughts with all of you, which we believe in a sense of deep conviction that if received well, can assure sustained growth for your entire lifetime. His divine grace, the Prabhupada used to say, what is poverty? Prabhupada said, define poverty as a lack of knowledge. He didn't talk of poverty. There are various types of poverty you can think of. And poverty in terms of lack of clothes, lack of food, lack of shelter. But the greatest poverty in the world is lack of knowledge. And therefore, somebody who has deep knowledge is actually the richest person. If you examine our tradition, our bhakti tradition, the greatest gifts to mankind have come out of this quest for knowledge. Wherever the quest for knowledge was very strongly manifesting, that led to the great things. When Maharaj Parikshit is asking questions, his quest for knowledge to Sukadeva Goswami, the greatest scripture in the world was born. The great Mahapuran Srimad Bhagavatam was born. When Arjuna asked his questions, deep questions, his quest for knowledge led to the Bhagavad Gita. Most Upanishads are born through question answers with guru and disciple. So it's a practice that this quest for knowledge is the highlight of a civilized human society. The more we have this hunger for knowledge, it's a very positive sign. Hunger can be many things. Hungry can be for food. Somebody is hungry for money. Somebody is hungry for power. Right? Power hungry people in the world. The politicians are very power hungry. Right? The corporates are all hungry for money, wealth, places. So that is hunger. But a hunger to learn deeper truths of life, right? That burning desire to understand the purpose, the goal, the path which leads to eternal welfare for ourselves and for our loved ones, that hunger, that quest is glorious. So we shall, and that once the quest, the knowledge is fulfilled adequately, that leads to growth. That leads to growth, right? So for today's evening discussion, we will take a discussion to the holy land of Sriranga Kshetra, Sriranga. A beautiful, important episode, life-changing episode, which took place in the 12th century. All of us have heard about the great Acharya, Sripad Ramanuja Acharya. And Srirangam has been always his headquarters. He lived for many years there, many decades there. And one of his disciples who succeeded him, the son of Quresh, was Parasara Bhatta, another great Acharya in the line of the Shri Sampradaya. He had several disciples, But many disciples, and one particular disciple who was very special. He wanted to Suresh Master with folded hands said, Gurudev, can you please tell me how can I become a true Vaishnava? What is a true Vaishnava? People cannot answer it immediately. But like sometimes doctors do refer the case to somebody else, refer to a nephrologist, refer to a cardiologist. So he referred his case to another great saint who was at the time living in Tirupati Balaji in Tirupati Hills. His name was Sripad Ananta Acharya. Some of them we should always hold in the heart with great respect and reverence. And as you learn about him more, you will see what exalted personality he was. In the Sri Sampradaya, there were what's called as Divya Deshams, 108 Divya Deshams. So Kanchipuram is called as Tyagamanda. And Srirangam is called as Bhogamanda. And Tirupati is called as Pushpamanda. Right? So the story goes that one wonderful day, Ramanujacharya was aware about the fact that Tirupati Balaji is Pushpamanda and designed to be Pushpamanda. That's the place where Pushpamanda means Balaji loves to be served with beautiful flowers. Right? But there was no flower garden there. So he asked the disciples, who amongst you would like to go to Balaji Mandir and set up a nice garden for the pleasure of Balaji? You need to remember that this is the 12th century. There are no roads, there are no pathways, there is no transportation. You have to walk through 7 hills, valleys, dense forests, consisting of wild animals, difficult terrain, and go up there. Right? So, not many people would be interested. And as it is, Ramacharya was saying, as Srirangam. So, Gurudev is here, who would like to go and stay in seclusion from his holy association. So, not many people raise their hand. But one devotee after deep thought, Gurudev, if it is your desire that I dedicate my life for this purpose, I'm willing to serve your order. Please bless me. That brought great joy to the heart of Ramacharya. Smiled and said, I bless you. Please go. Right? And then through all these difficulties, he ultimately went and spread down with his good wife at the top of this big mountain, Tirupati Balaji. So something you need to understand about his glory. What is the depth of his devotion? The depth. And when you understand that, then the words which he come out from his lotus mouth will be more deeply understood. So let's first understand for a few minutes the glory of this devotion. Who is this great saint and why is it so important for us to discuss about him today?
I started the story. Okay. There was once this person who went to a shop to buy a refrigerator, wanted to buy a fridge. So he went to the shop and he told the salesman that I want to buy this refrigerator. So the salesman said, but I don't want to sell it to you. He's saying, but why? I'm carrying the cash, I'm carrying the credit card. Why do you want to sell? Don't you want to sell it to me? Saying, no, I don't want to sell it. So he went out. He changed his clothes and he came back again after some time and he said, I want to buy this refrigerator. He said, you came back again? I don't want to sell this refrigerator. Please go from here. And he went out again and again he This guy does something else and came back and saying, I want to buy this refrigerator. So he's saying, you don't understand which language I should tell you. I don't want to sell this fridge to you. Huh? And then he came back as a disguised as Burkha. Female voice, and he said, I want this refrigerator. He's saying, will you go out or I should throw you out of the shop? I don't want to sell it. And the seller said, now I don't want to buy it, but I won't leave the shop till you don't answer my one question. I am changing so many clothes and coming here. And how are you able to recognize that I am the same person? You answer that and I don't want to buy the fridge, I will leave the shop. He's saying it's simple. So going on pointing at this refrigerator, but it's not a refrigerator, it's a washing machine. It's a washing machine and you keep on calling it a, so only the same foolish person will do that. He said, whatever it is, but I wanted to buy it, why did you sell it to me? He said, no, because if I sell it to you, after 2, 3 days you'll come back to me and saying, my food doesn't cool in it. But that's not the purpose of this machine which you are pointing as that. It's a very beautiful, connection that what do we come to temple for? What are we coming to the temple for? To become a Vaishnava. And we feel that I am a Vaishnava. I'm a devotee, I'm a devotee. But do we even understand what it means to be a Vaishnava? We think, like the person thought that the washing machine is a fridge. So we think now we have become Vaishnavas. Now we are devotees, now we are Vaishnavas. But it is such a deep, deep thing that who is a Vaishnava? At one of the temples in the US, Prabhupada was standing in front of the deities with folded hands and praying intensely. And some devotee gathered the courage and asked him, Prabhupada, what are you praying so intensely to God? And I mean to Radha Krishna. And he said that I am praying that someday I become a Vaishnava. I become a devotee. And our Prabhupada is saying that, founder Acharya. And we really feel that we have become Vaishnavas. So sometimes we need to understand by small discussions from different angles that how can I truly become a Vaishnava? And that is the question this devotee asked Parashar Bhattar, that what are the real symptoms of a Vaishnava? And when he told him to go to Anantacharya, why did he tell him to go to Anantacharya and not anybody else? And Prabhuji said, you refer the patient to, if he has a cardiac problem, he will obviously refer him to a cardiologist. No? He's not going to refer him to a gynac. Okay, go to this doctor. Because he is expert at cardiology. So because he is a Vaishnava of that caliber who can actually explain that who is a real Vaishnava. So he told him to go. So now we need to understand that why Anantacharya? What is so great about Anantacharya? Who is this Vaishnava Anantacharya? Right? Some of us might have heard his name. How many of us had heard his name before? Right? Few of us have heard about it, but even if we might have heard about it, when we go in little more, understanding of his life, then it brings out that why is he known as a great Vaishnava? And by imbibing the examples of such people, we can try to become great Vaishnavas. So, as he said that when Ramanujacharya told that who amongst you volunteers to go to Tirupati? Now, not many people volunteered because it was such a tough path to go there. You couldn't take a flight and go there, or just go there by a ropeway or something like that. They had to climb 7 hills and go. And besides that, Ramanujacharya was staying in Sri Rangam. So giving classes every day, morning, evening darshan every day. Who wants to leave the association of the spiritual master and go somewhere far off? Unless you understand the mood of your Guru that, Guru Maharaj, if this is what you want me to do, I will do it. I will go and do it. So Ramanujacharya cried tears of joy when Anantacharya volunteered. And he went over there and as he said, Tirupati is the Pushpa Mandap. So he made a flower garden and he called it Ramanuja garden. And to water the flowers, you need a tank. So he dug a tank and he called it Ramanuja tank. So for some time, he and his wife were doing the seva there, but they felt that the tank is a little small in size. So we want to make it a little bigger. So they started digging and Anandacharya was digging and his wife would carry the basket on the head with the dirt in it, go up the hill, down the hill, throw it in the valley and come up. And while doing all this, she was pregnant. So such hard labor, na? Going up, down, baby in the stomach. So it was a very, very difficult situation. And who became most disturbed seeing this? Balaji. That my devotee is doing so much for me. So he took the form of a small Brahman brahmachari and he came to Anandacharya and he told him that, please, can I help you in this, in doing this, I am a young boy, you are an elderly person. So I can do this very fast and do it. So Anandacharya said, you are a young boy, you go and play there. And besides that, my connection to my spiritual master is through this service which has been given to you, given to me. You take away anything else you want from me, but please don't take away this seva from me. We were, they would feel happy now, somebody come to help me. take all your friends also. You can help, we can finish it fast. But he said, this is my only connection to my Guru Maharaj. Please do not take this away from me. Now, every incident which we will tell, just see the quality of his commitment to his Guru and his mood of devotion of being a Vaishnava. So the boy went, he just shooed away the boy that no question, you go away from here. And again they started doing, but Balaji's heart was, how can, they do? So he thought maybe I'll go and approach Mataji. She might be softer than him. So he went to his wife and he said, okay, please, this is not done. You are carrying this heavy weight on your head and you are carrying a baby on your stomach. So it's not good, Please let me help you. Saying, no, my husband already told you no, right? And if he comes to know, he'll get very upset. He's saying, but how will he come to know? You bring the basket from him till the hill, and behind the hill I'll stand and I'll take it and go and throw it and give back the empty basket to you. You go and put it. So he became, he said in such a sweet, enchanting way. So she said, okay, and she started doing that. But Anandacharya is very observant. He said, she's coming back faster than she used to come back before. So he asked, that what is the secret? So she confessed to her husband that, actually you said no, but he came and he asked. So I just willingly agreed. And Anandacharya became really upset. So he picked up the spade with which he was digging. He started running after Balaji, after the boy. And the boy was running, and he climbed up a tree. And then Anandacharya standing down and saying, sorry, see, I have golden earrings, I have golden dhoti, please take all that, but spare me, please, I'm sorry. So Anandacharya thought that, okay, I will just agree, let him come down and then I'll do the needful. So he said, okay, give me the earrings and dhoti. And he jumped down and again he started chasing him. And this time Anandacharya said that I have to give him a little stronger message. So I'll throw the spade at him. But he didn't want to hit him with the spade just so that it falls on the side that it scares the boy. So he threw the spade, but this boy was running zigzag to evade him. Children, they can go under the table, behind the thing. He started running zigzag and unfortunately the spade scratched against his chin and his chin started bleeding. And he ran and he ran into the temple, into the Balaji temple. And usually, he went from the left side and went into the altar and closed the door. Usually you do parikrama from right side, no? But because he's God, he can left, right. So he just went and he locked the door. And it was afternoon time, so Anandacharya is waiting. And now Pujari will come, Vaikalika Bhoga Bhari. So, he will have to open. So Pujari came, he's saying, open the door. There is this one naughty boy inside. And he's been harassing me since morning. And I'm waiting here, you. So he opened the door and they looked everywhere, but there was no boy. And suddenly the Pujari noticed that Balaji is bleeding from here. And that's when Anandacharya realized that, oh God, that was Balaji who came. So he made a paste of chandan and camphor and some herbs and he applied it on the chin of Balaji. And Balaji was so pleased with his loving devotion. He had given this benediction to Ramanujacharya also and Anandacharya that in memory of what he has, of the devotion of Anandacharya, I want this paste to be applied to me every day. So till date, there that tilak is applied, another pastime, and even here there is a paste applied to Balaji, commemorating this pastime which took place in the 12th century. What we are talking about, And then he told him that I'm so pleased with you. Whoever you recommend to go back to Godhead, I will send them back to Godhead. What a recommendation letter. No exam, no nothing. Whoever you said, he will do it. So Anantacharya started staying there in this mood, serving day in and day out. What was he doing? Making flower garlands, because that was the order of his guru. So by then he started aging and he had many disciples over there. And one day while he was plucking tulsi and flowers in the garden, this cobra came and bit him on the feet. And the cobra was a poisonous one. So all disciples said, Guruji, please take some medical treatment. And Anantacharya just continued his seva. He was plucking this thing. And they said, Guru Maharaj, please, take some treatment. Otherwise, the poison will spread and the body will be, affected very soon. And Anantacharya kept doing his work. So when you feel helpless that Guru, you are not able to get something. So, if you want to not complain in that mood, but complain against the Guru, who do you go to? God. So the disciples went to Balaji and he said, my Lord, we need our spiritual master. Please do something that he should do some treatment for his this thing. Then in the meantime, Anantacharya had finished making the garland and he brought to offer to Balaji. And Balaji told him, such a pure devotee that the Lord talked to him. So he told him that, what is this? Why aren't you taking some medical treatment? This serpent is a poisonous serpent and he has bit you. So Anantacharya looked at the Lord and is saying, my Lord, which serpent are you talking about? There is this one serpent which has bit me on my feet. And he has affected my body. And the poison might spread. But there is another more poisonous serpent which has bit my soul. The serpent of lust, the serpent of pride, the serpent of envy, the serpent of anger, illusion, all this. And that is killing my soul. So, which serpent bite should I pay more attention to? The one which has bit my body or the one which has bit my soul? And if I am giving more attention to the serpent which has bit my soul, then the only doctor is you and the service to you. So that's the treatment I'm already taking. I'm doing my service to you. So that treatment I'm taking. And besides that, the only thing I'm living for is my service to my spiritual master. Right? And through him, I have got you. So I'm serving you. So if this snake which has bit my body is more powerful than the serpent which has bit my soul, then I will leave my body and I will be bathed in the Pushkarani lake over there. And I will come to Vaikuntha and I'll keep serving you Vaikuntha. So there is no stoppage in my seva. And if this serpent is more powerful and I continue doing the treatment, then I'm going to continue my seva. In either case, I live only for service. This is a Vaishnava. We live for seva. And so again, Balaji was so much moved by the devotion of this thing. So several pastimes would take place like this and we don't have time. So I just mentioned another one. That again another day, he was plucking his flowers in the garden because that was his main seva. And Balaji felt like meeting him. Krishna feels like meeting you, So he sent one of the devotees that go call Anantacharya. So he came to Anantacharya and saying, Balaji is calling you. So he continued doing his plucking the flowers and making the garland. And after several hours, few hours passed and he took the garland and he went to Balaji. And Balaji saying, what is this? I called you few hours back, and you have no value for my order, which I am giving you. So Anantacharya in all humility, he's telling him what? He's saying, yes, your order is on top of my head. However, the order of my spiritual master is that I have to serve you. So should I follow, for me, the order of my spiritual master is the topmost thing again, which I live for. So, and besides that, because of him, I have got you. Because of my spiritual master, I have got service to you. So that takes precedence in my heart. So to further the sweetness of the devotion, churning it out, Balaji said, do you know, for this offense, I can throw you out of Tirupati. So Anantacharya looked at him and he told him, he's saying, my lord, you have come from Vaikuntha Lok. You don't belong to Tirupati. Okay. And I was staying in Srirangam and I have come from Srirangam here. So neither I belong to Tirupati. Neither you belong to Tirupati. I mean, and neither I belong. So legally we have no right to check out anybody from us. We don't have right to do that, you know. So Balaji again began smiling, you know, that what can you defeat a devotee? Because his devotion is so much, and he's always trying to focus what? Service to my spiritual master, right? So again, you know, the point is that this is the Vaishnava, that for the order of the spiritual master, what extent can somebody go and somebody do? So that's when Parashar Bhatta sent this devotee to Anantacharya because he wanted to understand what is the real Vaishnava. So he met Anantacharya and then.
So this devotee we're talking about happily went with great difficulty to the top of the hill. And he met Anantacharya after his obeisances and they folded hands, posed this question. My dear Sri Anantacharya Dev, please, I have been sent to you by Parashara Bhatta. I have a question for you. Please tell me, what are the qualities of a true Vaishnava? So as you have heard, he was always busy in his seva, right? So he didn't answer the question. He went on with the service. He was so absorbed in the service. So this devotee felt, maybe I didn't ask properly. Maybe I'm not qualified to hear. Maybe my mood is not so submissive. Let me just stay here for a while and just serve, and then maybe he'll be inclined to reply. So he started staying in the ashrama of the Acharya, started attending the classes, hearing the shlokas, and doing all the pujas, doing all the menial services, and become like a residential person there, right? So many weeks passed, many days passed, few months passed, and he's doing all that is necessary, but the question is not being answered. So one wonderful day, and there was a bhandara, where there is a distribution of prasadam for a wonderful festival which Balaji was celebrating, right? So a lot of queue of people came from vicinity, and his service was to distribute prasad, this devotees. So he distributed prasad to the first pangat, and he gave prasad and he went and sat down for his own for honoring prasad himself. So Mandajar came to him and said, get up, get up, sir. So he got up with the bucket again, started serving. After he served, the pangat was over, and he said, get up, first serve. 3-4 times he got up like that, and he would sit down for prasad, and he would say, get up, and he would humbly just hold his hand and said, okay, get up, and he would serve. And the festival was so great, line was so long, that it became morning to afternoon to late evening, and there were hundreds of people who came for the prasadam. And he kept on serving him, no food, no water, no rest, nothing, right? And then became late evening, when everyone was over, he sat down, take prasad at last. And they said, please get up. You had a question, right? So he says, I have a question. What is your question? Please tell me, what are the qualities of true Vaishnava? So now this great saint will speak, right? And he did this only to bring this devotee to the level where he can truly be qualified to listen, right? And this is very important. The spiritual master will reveal so many things, but unless we have the proper purificatory sukruti, we can't understand so many things. We may say, good lecture, but it won't really sink into our consciousness. So now we felt that he was qualified. So please get up. What is the question? Please tell me what are the qualities of a Vaishnava. He should be like a crane, like a cock, like sword, and like you. And then he went on with the service. Only 4 words. We began wondering. That's all. I don't seem to understand this. So there's a cryptic answer given to him. He couldn't fathom what it really meant. So he offered his obeisances and left that place and went back to Srirangam. And he met Parasar Bhatta, who asked him what happened. He said, I met him, and his answer was, I should be like, a true devil Vaishnava is like a crane, a cock, a sword, and like myself. So can you please explain? So Parasar Bhatta became very happy because he himself was a very deep devotee and he knew the wisdom, the depth, the purity of his heart of Anandacharya. And being God brothers themselves, he knew his greatness. Said, I will explain to you. Said, what are the qualities of a crane? The crane is pure white color, right? And whiteness stands for purity. So that means in our life, we only do those things which enhance the purity of our body, our mind, and our soul. And we give up those things which will taint our body, mind, and soul with impurities. That is first thing. And the crane stands in water and is always staring down and looking for finding fish. And many small fishes go, but it waits for the big fish. So crane teaches us the power of focus. Right? Focus. The crane is not distracted looking here, there, everywhere, and whatever is happening in the environment. It completely stares with extreme attention on one thing only, the fish, right? Does that resonate with us? Are we really focused in life, in our bhakti? Because so many things happening around us which make us defocused, right? So Krishna says, website with a buddhi, not Vishaka, right? So that focus is very, very important. That means be conscious of whatever is unwanted, unnecessary, complicating my life, diluting my bhakti. I should be able to and just remain focused. Krishna Tvadiya Pada Pankaja Panjara. Focus on Krishna's lotus feet. That focus is very, very important. This also resonates with another Acharya, Jesus Christ. He told his apostles, said, you please just keep walking behind me. So they were walking behind him. He said, keep looking at me, but don't look behind as you are walking. Looking behind means looking at those things which you have already given away, which you already have given up in your life. Right? Every devotee has given up so many things, right? You may have given your onions, your garlics. Somebody may have given their tea, the coffee. Somebody may have given up other forbidden things, which we should not speak over here. But we all understand what we have given up, right? So if you've given up these things, don't look behind. They're given up. Don't look to the sides. Look only at me. The sides signify the distractions of this world. This is good. That is good. I should have this. I should have that. So the world will keep on generating various things so that you want to amass them, to have them, right? And that makes you defocused. So just look at me. So the crane teaches us this power of being focused. We need to pray for that. My dear Lord, let whatever events come through my karma, the ups and downs in my life, let me never become deep focused in my devotion to your lotus. right? Just like Andacharya, there's a poison was there, biting was there, cobra was there, but he didn't become deep focused, right? So we should not become deep focused. And then the tail allows the small fish to go, but catches only the big fish. And similarly, so there is called as being opportunist. He looks for the right opportunity. As the right opportunity comes, he will grab it. So as devotees, we get opportunities for devotional service, which are like the big fish. So what opportunities we may get for doing seva, we should immediately do what? Not grab it from somebody else, right? But be eager to accept it. Because devotional service is a blessing of Sri Radha. Sri is the Ladini Shakti of the Lord. So it cannot be equated with anything of this world. The adhikar, the privilege, the honor to do service to Radha and Krishna and the Vaishnavas is the highest state of blessing. Nothing supersedes that. So if somebody offers you some seva to perform, big or small, right? You should immediately, gratefully accept it. So being opportunist like the crane and letting unwanted things to just pass. That's about the lessons from the crane.
Also, how the crane is an opportunist is that it is always standing in a lake, but when he sees that it is drying up because of drought and all, before it dries up, he moves on to another water body, anticipating that I'm not going to get my nourishment here now. So wherever the nourishment is available, it goes there, right? Because he knows that I need nourishment. Where it is available, I have to be an opportunist and go and grab that opportunity.
So next thing was that be like the crane, then like the second one what? Be like the cock, right? So you have not seen cocks in America so many, but everyone is from India, you have seen cocks, right? And the cock typically just pecks the ground and picks up seeds and grains and gives the other stuff which is there aside. It is very selective, right? So the cock is teaching us about just picking up the positive things in their life and keeping away all the unwanted negative things, right? So being positive minded, because in our life also, many things happen in our life which are positive, and maybe which are very negative, but not allowing the negative things to affect us badly, but being always positive. In the sense, you must have seen in your own lives that when things go in the wrong direction, and if we are blessed, then afterwards the thing passes away, you say, oh, good that thing happened. Because that thing happened, therefore this thing happened. You have seen that many times, that behind every bad is also a hidden good. Therefore, Hindi sometimes they say, right? Jo bhi hua. How many have had an experience that basically you are, right? We all know that. And so that bad thing happened because of our bad karma. But because Krishna sanctions that thing to happen in our life, that is, Krishna's grace is there, that grace is the good part, is the hidden part. So unless a person is very perceptive and is in knowledge, he has to understand, if this is happening to me, what is the learning lesson here? What is good for me here? And when he catches that good, you'll say, my dear Lord, thank you. Now understand why we did this to you in my life. Because God is not good. God is always good, not sometimes good. So whatever does in our life is always good, right? So this way, the Book teaches us to always be happy and positively oriented. Another thing which is about positive, being positive is about getting feedback from people. Positive feedback. How many of us like to get feedback from people? Usually it's not a very favorite activity, right? But giving feedback, Prabhuji, you don't understand. This is not the way you do it. See, I mean, your work is fine, but you should. So giving feedback, very happy, very, very willing, very, very eager to give. But he's saying, Prabhuji, can I tell you something? What is it? Take it. So you manage your own business. Right? So taking feedback, when a loving, caring, trustworthy, well-wishing Vaishnava will give you a feedback, please be very, very, very happy. Of course, looking at the feedback is important. As I said, these are the qualities. If he's truly a well-wisher, he's a senior mature Vaishnava and he's giving you some feedback, be happy because Krishna is speaking through him. Because Krishna loves you and is bothered about you, and something you need which is of a constructive nature. So getting constructive, it is from him. And therefore, when he tells you something, what do you say again? Right? And because he's saying out of when you don't love somebody, you don't care, right? Yeah, whether whatever, let him just forget it. So maybe we are very fortunate somebody does that. Sometimes it is in the community of devotees. It is said that the most unfortunate person is that person whom nobody can go and tell anything. Right? Who will tell this person? Is he not going to listen to anybody? Right? It's a very bad state of affairs. Right? Where you are not tellable. Where you think you are so, the wall is there, nobody can penetrate. Therefore, be humble enough to take positive feedback. These are some aspects about feedback, right?
We discussed about the crane, discussed about the hen. Now we come to salts. What is salt?
Main ingredient. Not
It's a taste enhancer, isn't it? Any dish you make, you put the best of spices, you make it in the best of ways as it is supposed to, and you forget to put salt in it. How does it taste? Immediately you would say, "Arey, salt is not there," right? So, what is the quality of a salt? The quality of the salt is that it has to be in the right balance. If it is not there, it's a problem. If it is too much, it's a problem. It has to be the right quantity, as you said, a quantity sufficient. QS. There should be QS, quantity sufficient. And however, it being the sole thing, departing the flavor, does anybody glorify the salt? What salt? Super taste of the salt. Yes, like really tasty salt. Nobody even talks about it until it is too much or too less. Then immediately we land up talking. So these some properties of the salt are very, very relevant to a Vaishnava. That's what we have to learn from it. What is the first lesson from the salt? That we have to lead our life in balance. If anything goes out of balance, then what happens? What happens when things go out of balance? Chaos. Chaos in life. Too much of anything, too little of anything. Everything when you do it in the right mood, in the right amount, especially we people being graceful, balancing act is the most difficult. People will always ask, any topic you take, the question will be, "Prabhuji, how to balance? How do you balance family, devotional service, profession, health, all these things, how do you balance?" So that is the biggest challenge, that how do you balance? And we have to learn that how the salt does, that's how we have to understand from Guru Sadhu Shastra and try to lead our life on that, on the basis of the guidelines given by that. Only then our life will become a tasty offering to the Lord. Only then the Lord will be happy with us, right? So that is one major quality of the salt. Second quality of the salt is that it, although as we said, it departs the flavor, it adds the flavor, it always remains in the background. How much we have the need to take credit for what we do and what we don't do also. Both the times, and I told you, my suggestion, because of which all this is happening, I gave the idea and I did this, I told them don't do this and I told them do this. And that's why today this is happening. We all like that, na? Subtly, grossly, sometimes we become so gross about it that people can notice it also. And sometimes it is so subtle, nobody notices it. But we start feeling that I am doing. Does Krishna enjoy that? He never enjoys that, no? Neither Guru enjoys that. So the lesson to be learned, the lesson is that you may do everything, but you still remain in the background. As we see the pujaris, when the pujari is doing aarti on the altar, sometimes the pujari, why the asana of the pujari is kept so much in the corner? That when people come for darshan, they should not notice. So one time our Guru Maharaj was sharing the example of one person, that he would, when he was asked to do aarti, he would come so much in the front and do chamar in such a, like a turn it in 8 and 9 and such an artistic way. Aarti would go beyond time, but he would do it in such a way, and while doing, people are noticing, no? Like you want to be noticed, right? So it was on a funny this thing, but actually it happened. So we are doing aarti for what? So that the Lord enjoys we are serving the Lord, and the devotees will come and look at the Lord, not at us. So it is very, very difficult to do everything and still remain in the background. Tendency would be that if I'm not being seen, why should I do? I can remain at home. Other extreme. Again, by natural course, we are all extremists by nature. Either you do or you don't do. So mind can tell, if I'm not going to be, nobody knows, nobody is going to know that I'm doing, then why do it at all? All or none philosophy was about in that. So that is the quality of the salt, that it does, it remains in the background, it gives the proper balance. And the third quality that the salt is trying to teach us, some word was there. So these are some of the things which we learn from the salt, that yeah. The third thing which is there is that it blends very easily in the item. You will not see the oil you can see floating up, or you can see red spicy masala, or you see oregano or whatever is up. But salt absolutely blends. So when we are talking of community, or when you are talking of family environment, who blends? Who blends? One who believes in giving up himself in the service. Right? Does anybody even notice a mother's seva to the family? She just blends, doing the needful. Whatever is needed, you do. And same thing even in the community. If we can always stand up to the occasion that what is the need today? Nobody go Bhagavatam class, okay, I'll give class. Nobody to clean the toilet today, I clean the toilet. I'll get up from the asana and go and clean the toilet. Not that I just give class. You didn't see that? How can I go and clean the toilet now? Or nobody to cut vegetables in the kitchen. We are ready to do that. There is no defined seva that this is my department and I cannot do this because because I am I. I cannot do this. I cannot know. Doing the needful, that you become so blended that for you seva is important. Which form of seva? Not necessary. Whatever is needed, I am ready to do. And that's what is the highlight of a salt, right? So why did these great acharyas give such cryptic answers? Because sometimes when you give the theory, the principle, it might be difficult to remember and understand. But when you give an analogy, it so nicely sticks. Next time you sit on the table and there is salt and pepper, and at least hopefully, we will remember. Since we were talking about this, we have become quite conscious of the salt. That, oh yeah, and all these things don't happen automatically, right? You have to work for it. You have to endeavor. You have to control the urge to not feel the urge to do these things which are natural for people to happen. Why? Because I want to become a Vaishnava. I want to try to understand what is Vaishnava. Vaishnava is somebody who is pleasing to the Lord. So I want to become pleasing to Guru. I want to become pleasing to the Lord. So that is why I want to understand. We may have heard this story so many times, but sometimes things go in the background. Time and again, we need to just bring it to the surface. You keep bringing it up in different ways. Like there are so many japa seminars happening. Every year there is a japa seminar happening at Govardhan. Sachinandan Maharaj, Gurujan Prabhu, they do it. So it's talking about the same japa but from different angles, so that it highlights the importance that yes, this is the holy name. This is how I'm supposed to chant. This is how I'm not supposed to chant. This is what I should do yearly. And they say we can do more often. Sometimes twice in a year like that. So even after some years, as Prabhuji started the talk with the quest for knowledge. When we are children keep asking, na, Papa, what is this? Why this? What is this? How, what, why, where, when? How many questions we must have irritated our parents with? And they patiently give answer to all of that. But as we grow up, we stop asking so many questions. Now, why? Because we feel I know everything. In fact, I can tell you. The older sibling will tell the younger sibling. I tell you the answer to this is that. So somewhere that quest goes down. But for a Vaishnav, that quest never goes down. We want to hear more classes. We want to analyze. We want to understand, go deeper. That's why they are Bhakti Shastri, Bhakti Vaibhav, Bhakti whatever. Keep going up and up. Whatever that quest is there to learn, to understand. And it's not only learn, but how we can apply to our life. 10 times we fail, but 11th time you will succeed. Again, then 5 times more you will fail. Sometimes, if we know, then we work in that direction. So this is the crane, the cock, the salt. And then he said, and a Vaishnava should be like you.
Okay, so about you, but if we talk about you, whatever we talked about the crane, the salt, and the cock, there's some part of this become relevant to your life. Do you feel that you could catch something out of this? Or was it irrelevant? Was it relevant? Right? The balancing act, the act of feeling about your life, the act of being more focused, and our eternal craving for, we have salt craving. So we also have craving for credit craving. We can crave for, yeah, how many of us crave for credit? Someone should appreciate us, give us credit, give us a back. Credit. I want that. Nobody's appreciating it. I should get public claps should be there for me. Right? The credit seeking behavior is there. So yes, all these things have been spoken are very relevant. There's nothing which is spoken which is irrelevant to us. So finally, this devotee was told that the last thing it should be like you. So in hearing about this devotee who came all the way from Sri Lanka to Tirupati, what qualities we found in him which are very likable, which should be very desirable in our lives? Because he said that Vaishnav should be like you. So what qualities we found in this person? Huh?
Faithful.
Can you just raise your hand and speak? Yes, Mataji. Ready to serve, right? Was eager to serve. Wonderful quality. Can we also ourselves pray that we get that eagerness to serve, rather than eagerness to be served? You're all eternal. That you are a new devotee, senior devotee, a temple president, commander, in charge, whatever the position we may get in the temple or at home or in the organization, we should never forget that we are always servants of the Lord. Jivana Swarupa. Nitya Das, not temporary Das. Nitya. Wherever we are, we become Guru, GBC, any post, any position. But we are always simply Das. That's why our name is even like that. Right? Dwarkadish. That's why, it's like when Diksha ceremony is there, then people say, they got it from say D or from V. They start thinking, what name I will get? And D say I can get these different names. And from V, the ladies say I get different names. But the master tells you, those names are nice, it's sweet, no? But the real word is what? Behind Das. That is the Das part. That is the best part. Other name is there, other Priya, Dwarkadish, Damodar Das. But the real thing is, that means the adhikar to serve the Lord. Right? What other did you found in this devotee?
Hunger to know, like his whole journey began with the quest that he needed to know, or he had a hunger to know who is Vaishnava.
Right. So now he is satisfied to think, I have heard many lectures, Guruji. I mean, I don't need to hear anymore now. I should be giving classes now, right? So, this eagerness to learn. I mean, often when I hear my spiritual master, Radha Swami, he often starts the class by like this, by saying, so today morning I was hearing a class by Srila Prabhupada, right? Now, as far as I'm concerned, he's a self-realized soul, and he's guiding thousands and thousands of people all over the world. He's a global leader. But for himself, he thinks, I'm still a disciple of my spiritual master, Srila Prabhupada. Therefore, I should also be hearing the words of my beloved Gurudev. Right? So, that for this request for knowledge, you can never know enough. And it's not about the material science that, okay, I've read this book or I know this science. Spiritual science is something which you keep hearing regularly, and you get more and more newer and deeper realizations of the same eternal truth. Right? Because it is like an ocean of truths. Bhakti Rasa Amrita. So there's an ocean of truth. The more we hear, the more we realize, the more we learn. What are the quality found in this devotee? Prabhu?
Patience and perseverance.
Patience and perseverance. Wonderful quality, right? How many of us have that patience? Not there, right? And perseverance. He did not give up. He said, oh, he's not telling me the answer. Let me go away. Right? He didn't go away. He stood there, he stayed there, he served wonderfully. Any other quality?
Faithful to
Yeah, Prabhu? Yes. He's available.
You will be asked to, okay, get a Jesus.
He is available to service. Yes. There was never a no. He said, Mataji, what did you say? He never felt insulted. I'm hungry, Baba. Don't you understand? I'm hungry. You're making me work so much like a menial servant. Get crumbs. Right? Yes.
One thing that coming to my mind is that he asked question to his guru there, and he had a faith on his words that come all the way to Tirupati and hear from him. So he had that faith that if he's sending me here, it means this is where I am.
Right. Correct. So this way you can see this devotee also has so many wonderful qualities. Imagine if we can today is, what date is today?
13.
13. We keep track, we lose track of time, we travel. 13, right? And if we can carry, we always say this, that we heard a lot of lectures, we heard seminars, we heard discussions, we heard satsang, right? If we can carry only one jewel of wisdom given by our acharyas, just pick up one quality today. And then core of your heart, it's okay. This seems to be most relevant to me. I should follow many things, but if trying to follow many things, we may not follow anything sometimes, right? But can I pick up one quality? That one quality, I say, okay, I want to get this quality of salt where I will not interpret it. Or yes, I want to learn this art of focus, or I want to really become patient in my life.
Positive.
I want to be more positive. I crave, I complain, I'm negative. I spread negativity, I keep spilling politics, or sometimes I'm doing some gossiping. I want to be more positive in my life. Right? So if you can pick up only one quality, if you can pick up more than one, great, if you have the capacity. But I urge you, I request you, pick up one thing. This wisdom of another acharya is eternal wisdom. After 800 years also, we're talking about the 4 words he spoke. Right? These are not new words. Cock, crane, these are not new words. But in relevancy to our, did we ever think that cock is going to my life? Did you say it? Like, did you ever feel that crane is going to my life? Crane, me, any connection? No. Salt connection, yes, salt is good for eating only. What is it? The weight for salt. I eat it. Should I need sodium in my body? I need sodium chloride. No. Right? So you can see all these things are directly relevant to our life. Right? So with these words, I want to thank all of you for being such a beautiful audience and patiently hearing. So you already have an audience of patience. Because you've been sitting through last 1.5 hours and patiently hearing.
And he mentioned about you. So we mentioned in very short, but tomorrow we are going to elaborate on this you quality
Yes.
by taking the topic of lines in stone. Lines in stone. So we'll be elaborating more on you part of it. Okay? It will remain incomplete if you don't go there.
So it's not a dot, it's a comma. Comma. So anybody like to ask any questions? Any comments? Because Prabhu would like to have any questions or comments?
Anyone has any questions?
Actually, I have a question. I want to ask in the morning. Sorry, thank you for coming and gracing us year after year. Very grateful to you. The one question I want to ask in the morning, but due to time constraint, I couldn't. So you've been practicing Bhakti for more than 35 years, and you're also married, you're a professional. So I'm sure, if you practice as a doctor, you'll see the trends. This patient will recover, or this patient will go through problems. Likewise, in Bhakti, they're also practicing for more than 3 decades, I don't know, 35, 50, 40. This devotee will make it in the sense he'll progress nicely. He will not give troubles to the organization, but he will continue to the organization. And this devotee, down the line, on the road, he may end up in problems or he may give trouble to the society. So what are those qualities that you observed, either in professional or especially devotee, not a political, the professional life? So, and thank you for the class, for pinpointing each and those qualities that will make us Vaishnava. But, so what qualities will make us follow the ditch that you have seen in your Bhakti life? And what qualities will protect us from the problems and we go further?
One thing which really has been a consistent positive factor among devotees who do well is visible sadhana. Right? That they are people who are visible, they are visible to the programs, they're visible in the japa sessions, they are visible in the mangala aartis, they're visible in the festivals, right? So they are visible people, right? That means that is really an important priority for them, right? That of course we can say bhakti is done at home also, not denying that it can be done, and if your mother who at home with the babies who are small, that part is not being discounted here. But I'm saying that when coming to visible sadhana would mean that we are eager to participate, eager to get involved, eager to contribute, eager to really be part of this great mission. So visible sadhana is there, and come in the morning. For example, we have a temple, where we stay in our home, right? So people who come regularly every day, generally, if the first thing in the morning you do is your japa, especially come to temple or a group of devotees, they cannot do here, they do on Zoom. They must sit at home and 15 people are staying on Zoom. One is in Atlanta, other is there, that is there, whatever. So that is visible. People are doing business.
Prioritize.
So anybody who gets up in the morning in Brahma and before doing anything else in his life, he takes his bath, wears clean clothes, and just stands Krishna's beautiful holy views. Definitely his life is not very auspicious. Right? Because he's giving first command to the Lord in his life, right? Whatever the Lord blesses him with a lot of grace. I think that is something he just consistently wanted for. And another quality which is I see is useful in consistently performing is those devotees who are have the regular habit of reading scriptures, right? And we often hear sufficiently, which is not. But for own swadhyaya, right? So we say sadhana, sadachara, siddhanta, swadhyaya, and seva, right? It's a 5-point formula of our life, 5 S's, if you are very hold sacred in our life. And so all of us here are grihasthas, those are brahmachari, we are a brahmachari. But for us grihasthas, because we have technically a very difficult life, and many things to be done, but if we can prioritize reading scripture, right? That both of our faith so strong and keeps the intelligence very clear, right? So ultimately you activities for intelligence, and intelligence then guides the mind guides the body, body guides the senses, right? So if somebody is reading scripture, right? Swadhyaya, that is a habit which is not so strongly seen in our prayers, right? Um, that can be promoted. Those who do that regularly, I find, even when the storms come in their life, if they will, right? Their sadhana is strong, the reading is there, they usually will not become shaky. They will stand strong in the storm also, right? And third, of course, is those who have a wonderful desire, ability to serve. Those who like to serve, who are happy to serve, right? They do very, very well, right? Always that enthusiasm to keep on serving is a hallmark, right? Utsaha, Nishchaya, Prera. The Utsaha is there to serve. That is a glorious for me. So I find these usable sadhana and reading of scriptures, regular basis, not regular hours, almost it should be daily. And willingness to always humbly serve the authorities in a pleasing manner. If these things are there, his boat will sail. Detrimental I think the worst quality which really is detrimental is gossip. Our acharyas have very strongly given remarks on prajalpa, right? That it drain is like draining the body. It's like you're bleeding, right? You keep bleeding. What happens when you bleed? You're bleeding from your hemorrhoids or from your ulcer or your bleeding. Usually you will just be finished, right? So gossiping, mundane, idle gossip is a strong drain of the vitality of the spiritual life. Because the virya is like a potency for the person, right? You just get drained off just for the It's very difficult. So somehow we can keep politics and gossip away, and that is destroy this. Another thing is no feeling of what they call as my guru, your guru, right? That is often seen also as divisive in nature, correct? So there are various disciples who are sitting here of various spiritual masters, right? And that's wonderful, right? So I'm a disciple of this guru and you are of somebody else. So I love you and care you because he is my guru uncle, right? We all have our kakas and mamas and chachas, right? So they are all, and ultimately we have a common grandfather, is divine grace, right? So where we unite together under his loving service, right? And we appreciate the unity in this diverse. That is when that temple is there where everyone is united instead of having 10 different gurus, this one working together in harmony. Krishna is so pleased with that unity, right? When Krishna sees unity, then he just showers opulences, money, grace, everything will come. But when he sees factions, when he sees divisions, when he sees fractures and groupism, That is very destructive. It is very dangerous. So at all costs, we want to enhance that we are a family. We are, so when I began today, you remember what I said, that we are happy to be a part of the family of Sri Sri Radha. Somebody has come, we met somebody who came from Wakhad. This is somewhere in Nigri, in Maharashtra. Somebody has come, we met in the morning, somebody who came from Kerala, right? Somebody has come from Andhra, the Andhra majority here. Andhra will be very strong. Just if there is an election, Andhra will win. The other parties will lose. Right? That is there. Thanks to Prabhu, who is also from Andhra. So all Andhra is coming here. Some Gujarati also are there, Ahmedabadis are there. Right? So is it not wonderful to see how Prabhu is a great family? Right? And yet, where are we sitting right now? We are sitting in Delhi. Part of Kerala is there, part of Tamil Nadu is there, part of Maharashtra is there, part of Rajasthan is there. And we are sitting in a foreign land called Detroit. Right? Right? This is the glory of our society. And we can always acknowledge this glorious thing. Nobody can do this except in Krishna consciousness. And you can still so much of bhaichara is there. Right? Let us be grateful for this. Be grateful for this. And let nothing in the world divide us. Let everything in the world be enhancing this family spirit. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
It is wonderful.
The whole point really, really interesting.
Which one?
Yeah, it's all
Salt.
blending in, and especially in a society, and I'm comparing it to my own school life, because that's what I know best, but, you know, in an environment that you're usually in where you're supposed to stand out, you're supposed to be the best, you're supposed to, you know, make achievements that no one else has, and compared to, in, like, in devotion where you're supposed to blend in, you're supposed to not take the recognition. And so that divide is, specifically in school life, it's hard, right? It's hard to go from that environment you're constantly in to going to an environment where it's the opposite. And so I have two questions. One is that, and the second
So
is,
we'll take one.
okay.
One time somebody asked Krishna Chandra Prabhu. We have Krishna Chandra Prabhu in Bombay. He's Mr. Mafatlal, more commonly known as that. So he gave a class and he spoke about humility, something about humility. So they said, Prabhu, you are talking of humility, but if you are in the outside world, and you know, if you are humble, you do the work, it's okay. You don't do, it's okay. How do you run a company? How do you run an empire if you are? How do you run an empire if we are going to apply these principles of humility and tolerance and forgiveness and all of that? So he gave a very beautiful example. He said, it is not, humility doesn't mean being like this, or you know, just accepting whatever, doing the needful. And he gave the story of Narad Muni and the snake. When Narad Muni went to a village and there was a snake which was disturbing everybody. So everybody told Narad Muni that this snake is a disturbance to us. So Narad Muni went and he removed the fangs of the serpent. And then after some time when Narad Muni came back and he told the snake that don't bite. So he doesn't have fangs, how can he affect anybody? And when he came back to the place again, all the children were throwing stones at him and, you know, hitting him with a stick and all. So Narad was wondering why all this thing, but Gurudev, you told that I should not bite. He's saying, I told you not to bite, but I didn't tell you not to show the hand. Huh? What is the meaning of that? That you can't allow people to take you for a ride And we need to understand these principles of humility, or when we are talking of blending into the thing, or not being outstanding. Not being outstanding doesn't mean that you don't participate in anything in school, college, and everything. It is the attitude which you are talking. You can come first and still blend like a salt and not have that ego issue among your friends or that superiority complex which you are supposed to have, right? So here we are talking of attitude. It's not that you become, they say, devotees lose ambition. If you become a devotee, you don't become ambitious. Where, how? A devotee is the most ambitious person. Imagine Prabhupada, elderly person, he was ambitious, he wanted to make the whole world Krishna conscious, right? So in no way devotees understand these principles in this way that, I don't have to be outstanding. No, you must be outstanding, but whom do you give the credit to? If you come first in college and school, you must come so that people will ask you that what is the secret, and you can say because I'm a devotee. So what are you doing? You are adding to the glory, right? So it is not contradictory. This, it blends with the yes. A devotee is best everything. A devotee is most ambitious. They should come first. Yeah. Everything which we do, devotee is the best mother. Devotee is the best professional. A devotee is the best. Whatever you can talk of. Why? Because he doesn't keep. It doesn't allow anything to stick. If we allow it to stick, then we are not proper devotees in any case.
Thank you so much, Mataji. My second question is also kind of education related to what I know best. So as, I exalted, I exalted what you want, and as exalted professional as what you doing, I'm assuming that the journey between was difficult, like the balance between maintaining all of your devotion and maintaining all of the responsibilities you have in that area, in that area of your life, as well as all of the responsibilities that you have in your professional life. And how did you balance that so well for the company? You're telling me both. And I know that the simple answer is that when you focus on devotion, everything else lines into place. So sometimes it's really hard to focus on devotion when you feel like devotion. Sometimes the time can sometimes take away some time that in some areas you think that it would be better served doing something else.
When we talk of focusing on devotional life, we are not, for a devotee, there is no two lives. This is my material life and this is my spiritual life. It's all one. So taking care of family is also devotional life. Taking care of my studies is also devotional life. Taking care of my profession is also devotional life. How? Because the results of it I am offering it to Krishna. So the balance comes when you understand the principle properly. And when we don't, then we tend to become imbalanced and fanatic in one way or the other. Somebody will say, oh, I'm supposed to focus on devotion. So washing pots and, taking care of my children or my profession. I don't feel like studying anymore. I don't feel like earning money. Will you be able to sustain your life like that? You can't do that, right? We cannot get imbalance, not understand the principle properly. That's why Prabhupada said, Krishna consciousness is simple for the simple and complicated for the complicated. Such a beautiful question Yugal Kishore Prabhu asked that, what are those things which if we do, we can continue not be shooting stars, like we can be devotees throughout our journey. And what are those things which we don't do? It is when we hear things, don't try to complicate our life in such a way that, actually it means this. That if I am a devotee and I get married, I have to be a different type of a person. I have, like in the morning we were discussing attachment, detachment. So we have to be normal. Whatever has most of the, who said that? No, Dhanur, Dhanudas Swami Maharaj said that what is lacking today is we feel that if we are devotees, we have the license to do anything. But devotees are also normal people. You have normal emotions, normal. It's only you have to add Krishna to your life. And for that is exactly for which we are so fortunate in ISKCON that we have mentors who will mentor us without any ulterior motives. Right? In the outside world, you go to somebody to, you go to a lawyer to get your divorce case sorted out. What they will do, they keep extending. Why? Because they're getting, they won't even allow you to get divorced. They keep stretching it, because there is some ulterior motive in whatever outsiders do. But devotees, there is no ulterior. They just want to help us out. So it's so easy. I hear and I try to apply to my life. I read, I try to apply to my life. I try to do my sadhana and try to purify my life. And if there is any problem where I don't understand, there are always people more senior than me whom I can always take guidance from. No matter how many years we are. Like we have the counselor system in Bombay. So we all have been given this seva of becoming counselors. But anything that we need to discuss, we have our counselors also. It's not that we are counselors. We have 90 counselors under us. So how can I go to ask? I should be all knowing. No, not necessary. If tomorrow I have some difficulty, we should be able to talk that much, humility or grounded thing we should, that we are not all knowing. We need something. So I think that in ISKCON, the best thing available is genuine well-wishing mentors, that any sphere of life you have any difficulty in, you can always take help and guidance from. Always. Whether it is material life, spiritual life, whatever it is, the institute has provided and has grown in such a way that they have mature people in all fields. And that makes you feel very relieved and stress-free, that I need not have accidents. If I have an issue, let me go and simple, na? Better to be a follower than to be a leader. In that sense, you just go, ask, and you'll get the answer, and then life goes on. Why can you not remain Krishna conscious throughout your life? It's very simple. If I keep doing my sadhana properly, if I'm doing my reading, if I'm doing seva, and whenever I have some difficulty, I can take guidance. Simple. What is the problem in life? Simple for the simple, complicated for the complicated.
Sorry, really fast. It's a short question. Thank you for just asking my questions. My question was, so at the beginning of the class, you mentioned, like Guru's. So how can you try to deeper understand my spiritual master's word and try to like incorporate that into our services to the next part?
By hearing. By hearing. A large part of Krishna consciousness growth comes by using our ears. In material life, you tend to use your eyes more because they believe that seeing is believing. But for us, the major part of our growth is when we submissively hear. Right? So, how would you know the mood of your parents? By hearing them, right? What tone it is, what they're saying, right? So we learn a lot of things simply by hearing. So, how do you know the mood of anybody else, your professor or your friend? When you hear them, you know what their mood is, right? And of course, the spiritual master shows the mood so clearly as to what he wants, what are his teachings so elaborately. So that is very evident. And his mood is not to be very different than the mood of his guru, which is Srila Prabhupada, right? So when you hear Prabhupada, you understand his mood. So now that every guru has a different mood, they may have uniqueness because of being individuals, but the mood is to always be a servant of the servant, of the seven. This is the eternal mood which we all are intended for ultimately. Right? Because it is this mood alone which attracts Krishna's heart. Only when we serve in this mood, when we chant in this mood, that Krishna actually takes our service and our sadhana seriously. So this is the only mood actually we have to enter for. When can I really feel that I am simply the servant of the servant of all Krishna's servants? Once that mood is there in our heart, our life is perfect.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you, and as Vishaka Priya said, we'll hopefully see you tomorrow again. What time is that?
One of them.
1 hour.
Praise Dwarkadish Prabhu ki jai. Praise Vishaka Priya Mataji ki jai.
कृष्ण भगवान